Gautama Buddha. Before Gautama, there were 6 others. According to the Pali Canon's Mahapadana Sutta, 7 Buddhas have appeared across vast stretches of cosmic time, each arising when the Dharma had been forgotten, teaching it again, and passing away. Their names in order: Vipassi, Sikhi, Vesabu, Kakusanda, Konagamana, Kassapa, and Gautama. Vipassi is said to have lived 80,000 years. That number isn't meant to impress you. It's meant to tell you how this tradition thinks about time, not in centuries, but in cosmic cycles too large for ordinary arithmetic. These 7 are not widely worshipped as individual figures. They function as proof of a pattern. Enlightenment is not a one-time accident. It is a cosmic inevitability. Gautama is simply the latest. Somewhere in the future, another is coming. He was a prince who walked away from everything. Born in Lumbini, in what is now Nepal, Siddhartha Gautama renounced his palace, his wife, his inheritance, and his comfort, after encountering old age, sickness, and death for the first time. Scholars place his birth somewhere between 563 and 480 BCE. The exact date is still disputed. After years of extreme asceticism that nearly killed him, he sat beneath a tree in Bodh Gaya and at around age 35 achieved enlightenment. He then spent approximately 45 years walking across northern India, teaching the 4 Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path before dying at Kushinagar at around age 80. Every other Buddha in this video is defined in relation to him. He is the template, the proof of concept, the reason the word Buddha exists at all. Maitreya. The next Buddha isn't here yet. Maitreya is the Buddha of the future, currently residing as a bodhisattva in Tusita heaven, waiting. According to Mahayana tradition, he will appear on earth roughly 5.6 billion years from now, after the current cycle of Dharma has completely faded and humanity has forgotten it existed. He is the only bodhisattva recognized across both Theravada and Mahayana traditions. That alone makes him unusual. His iconography reflects his unfinished status. He stands rather than sits. He is dressed like a prince rather than a monk, because he has not yet taken his seat under the Bodhi tree. In some East Asian traditions, he became merged with a laughing, rotund Chinese monk called Budai. That merger created one of the most widespread cases of mistaken identity in religious history. More on that later. Amitabha Buddha. If you have ever seen someone folding their hands and chanting in an East Asian Buddhist temple, there is a good chance they were calling this name. Amitabha, meaning infinite light, rules over a paradise realm in the West called Sukhavati, the Pure Land, where any being reborn there is guaranteed to eventually achieve full enlightenment. The practice built around him, reciting Namu Amida Butsu in Japanese or Namo Amituofo in Chinese, became the most widely practiced form of Buddhism across China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. The logic is radical in its accessibility. You do not need to be a monk. You do not need decades of meditation. You need sincere devotion and the recitation of his name. Among the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, he is associated with the color red and the western direction. His compassion is not earned, it is offered. Akshobhya Buddha. His name means immovable, and he earned it with a single vow. Before achieving Buddhahood, Akshobhya vowed never to feel anger or aversion toward any being. And he held that vow across countless lifetimes until it became his nature entirely. He rules the eastern realm called Abhirati, and is depicted in deep blue, seated with one hand pressing the earth, the same gesture Gautama used at the moment of enlightenment. Within the system of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, Each figure represents the transformation of a specific poison into a wisdom. Akshobhya transforms hatred into mirror-like wisdom, the kind that reflects reality without distortion or reaction. He is less prominent in popular worship than Amitabha. But in tantric iconography, his deep blue form grounds the eastern quadrant of every major mandala. He is the stillness that hatred becomes when it has nowhere left to go. Ratnasambhava Buddha. His name means jewel-born, and his entire presence is an act of giving. Ratnasambhava is the southern Buddha among the 5 Dhyani Buddhas associated with gold and yellow. His defining gesture is the Varada mudra, the open hand extended downward, palm out, pouring abundance toward whoever stands below. He represents the transformation of pride into equanimity, the ability to see all beings as equally precious, without ranking them. His animal symbol is the horse. In Shingon Buddhism's mandala system, he occupies a precise position within the womb realm mandala. He is not a figure most practitioners pray to individually. But in the architecture of tantric cosmology, remove Ratnasambhava and the entire south collapses. Amoghasiddhi Buddha. Amoghasiddhi means infallible accomplishment. Where the other Dhyani Buddhas represent stillness or light, he represents action. He is the northern Buddha, associated with vivid green. His gesture is the Abhaya mudra, the raised palm that means, do not be afraid. He transforms jealousy and envies into all-accomplishing wisdom, the intelligence that knows how to move in the world without distortion. His animal symbol is the Garuda, though sources vary. The green of his body connects him to the Karma family, the group within Vajrayana cosmology most concerned with activity, result, and engagement with the world. If Akshobhya is the Buddha of perfect stillness, Amoghasiddhi is the Buddha of perfectly directed movement. Vairocana Buddha. Stand at the center of any mandala, and you are standing where Vairocana is. He is the central and highest of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. His name means the illuminator, he who is like the sun. And in the Huayan and Shingon schools of Buddhism, he is not simply a great Buddha. He is the totality of reality itself. The giant bronze Buddha at Todaiji in Nara, Japan, approximately 15 meters tall, constructed in the 8th century CE, depicts Vairocana. It remains one of the largest bronze statues in the world. His color is white, the integration of all light. In Shingon Buddhism, every other Buddha, every bodhisattva, every phenomenon in the universe is understood as an emanation of Vairocana's body. His defining mudra is the fist of wisdom, one index finger enclosed within the other fist, symbolizing the union of the individual and the absolute. Everything else in this tradition is him, seen from a different angle. Medicine Buddha. Before achieving Buddhahood, this figure made 12 vows, and every single one was about healing. Paisajaguru, the master of healing and king of lapis lazuli light, vowed to cure illness, eliminate poverty, free beings from the lower realms, and ensure that anyone who heard his name would be protected from harm. He is depicted in deep blue, the color of lapis lazuli, holding a medicine bowl in one hand and a myrobalan fruit, a traditional healing herb, in the other. His pure land in the east is called Vaiduryanirabhasa, the lapis lazuli world. The mantra associated with him, beginning Tadyatha Om Paisaje, is among the most recited healing mantras in Tibetan Buddhism. In Tibetan practice, he is invoked at bedsides, in hospitals, and at the moment of death. He did not achieve enlightenment and then offer compassion. He made compassion the condition of his enlightenment. Dipankara Buddha. This is the one who started everything. Dipankara, whose name means lamp-bearer, kindler of lights, was an ancient Buddha who encountered a young ascetic named Sumedha, a past life of the man who would eventually become Gautama. According to tradition, Dipankara recognized in Sumedha the potential to become a future Buddha, and he prophesied it aloud. Sumedha, overcome with devotion, spread his long hair on muddy ground so that Dipankara would not have to step in the dirt. That single act of selfless offering set in motion a journey of countless lifetimes of merit, a chain of lives and deeds that would eventually produce Gautama Buddha. Every Gautama statue in the world exists because of that moment. One man lying face down in the mud, offering his hair as a path. Dipankara is extremely popular in Southeast Asian Buddhist art, particularly in Myanmar and Thailand, where he is depicted with both hands raised in blessing. Samantabhadra, Primordial Buddha in the Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, the ultimate Buddha is not a figure who achieved enlightenment. He is a figure who never left it. Samantabhadra, whose name means universal goodness, is depicted naked, deep blue, in union with his white consort. He represents the primordial state of awareness that has never been obscured by confusion, never fallen into ignorance, never needed to wake up because it never fell asleep. The union of the two figures represents awareness and emptiness, inseparable. He has no throne because there was nothing before him to sit above. He wears no ornaments because there is nothing hidden that decoration would need to cover. He is central to Dzogchen, the great perfection teachings considered the highest vehicle in the Nyingma school. The practice is not to become enlightened. It is to recognize what you already are. He should not be confused with the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, who is green and richly adorned. They share a name and almost nothing else. Vajradhara, where the Nyingma school places Samantabhadra at the origin of all teachings, the Kagyu, Sakya, and Gelug schools place Vajradhara. His name means Vajra holder, thunderbolt holder, and the Vajra, that small ritual scepter representing indestructible reality, tells you everything about what he symbolizes. He is depicted deep blue, fully adorned with jewels and silk, unlike the naked Samantabhadra. He holds a Vajra in his right hand and a bell in his left, arms crossed at his chest. The Vajra represents skillful means. The bell represents wisdom. The crossing of the arms represents their inseparability. In the Kagyu lineage prayer, every teacher in the transmission line traces their authority back through an unbroken chain to Vajradhara as the original source. He is the truth body of all Buddhas, the primordial ground from which every tantric teaching flows. Amitayus, Amitabha, and Amitayus share the same essential nature, but they wear different forms for different purposes. Where Amitabha is depicted simply in monk's robes, emphasizing his role as the Buddha of the Pure Land, Amitayus appears fully adorned in jewels and silks, holding a vase filled with Amrita, the nectar of immortality. His emphasis is not on rebirth in paradise. It is on the extension of life itself. He is red, associated with vitality and longevity. Practices centered on him, called long life empowerments, are among the most commonly given empowerments in Tibetan Buddhism. Along with white Tara and Usnisa Vijaya, he forms what tradition describes as the three long life deities. Whether Amitayus is a distinct Buddha or simply Amitabha in a different body form varies depending on which tradition and which text you consult. Same nature, different face, different work to do. Usnisa Vijaya. Her name means she who is victorious over the Usnisa, the cranial protrusion on the Buddha's crown that symbolizes supreme wisdom. And her defining power is the purification of karma through sound alone. The Dharani associated with Usnisa Vijaya is said in her sutra to purify the negative karma of any being who hears it, including animals. That logic produced a tradition of inscribing her dharani on prayer wheels, so that the wind turning the wheel technically reads it on behalf of every living thing nearby. She appears in three-faced, eight-armed form, holding a miniature stupa, a noose, a lotus, and other ritual implements. She is widely venerated in China, Japan, and Tibet. Whether she is classified as a Buddha, a bodhisattva, or a deity varies by tradition. But her power to liberate through sound is consistent across all of them. Tathagatagarbha. This one is less a figure and more a fact. Or at least that is the claim. Tathagatagarbha means womb or embryo of the Tathagata, another name for a Buddha. And the teaching associated with it holds that every sentient being already contains a perfect, luminous Buddha nature, fully present and fully enlightened, obscured only by mental defilements the way the sun is obscured by clouds. This idea becomes the foundation for the Zen teaching that you do not become a Buddha through practice. You recognize the Buddha you already are. It is also controversial. Some scholars argue the concept dangerously resembles the Hindu Atman, a permanent self, which Buddhism formally rejects. The debate is ongoing and unresolved, the most important idea in the entire tradition, and nobody fully agrees on what it means. Vairocana in Huayan Buddhism. In standard iconography, Vairocana is a great cosmic Buddha. In Huayan philosophy, he becomes something stranger and more total than that. The Avatamsaka Sutra, one of the longest texts in the Buddhist canon, describes Vairocana's body as literally identical with the universe. Every world system is a pore on his skin. Every particle of reality is a cell in his body. And each of those particles contains infinite further world systems reflecting all the others. This is the image known as Indra's net. This Buddha does not act, does not teach in any conventional sense, does not move. He simply is the interconnected totality of all phenomena, simultaneously. The Huayan school, founded in China in the 7th century CE, built an entire philosophical and aesthetic tradition around this vision, one that influenced Chinese architecture, art, and intellectual life for over 1,000 years. Dainichi Nyorai. When Kukai, the monk who founded Shingon Buddhism, returned from Tang, China to Japan in 806 CE, he brought with him a claim so radical it reshaped Japanese religious life entirely. All Buddhas, all Bodhisattvas, and even the native Shinto gods of Japan are emanations of a single cosmic Buddha named Dainichi, meaning Great Sun. Dainichi is the Japanese name for Mahavairocana. His two defining mandalas, the womb realm representing compassion and the diamond realm representing wisdom, together map the totality of enlightened reality. His mudra is the fist of wisdom, the left index finger enclosed within the right fist. The audacious claim of Shingon practice is that by performing the correct mudra, reciting the correct mantra, and visualizing Dainichi simultaneously, a practitioner can achieve enlightenment in this body, in this life, not across countless future rebirths. The great bronze Vairocana at Todaiji in Nara is understood within Japanese Buddhism as Dainichi's physical presence in the world. Amida Butsu. Japan took Amitabha and built an entire civilization around him. The practice of Nembutsu, the recitation of Namu Amida Butsu, became the dominant religious act of medieval Japanese life, cutting across class lines in a way few religious practices ever have. The monk Honen, born in 1133, founded his school on the principle that Nembutsu was sufficient for salvation. His disciple Shinran, born in 1173, went further. Even a single sincere recitation was enough, because Amida's compassion did the work, not human effort. Shinran's school, Jodo Shinshu, became the largest Buddhist denomination in Japan. The Byodo-in Temple, built in 1053 CE, houses one of Japan's most celebrated Amida statues, a golden figure of absolute serenity that has been staring at the same pond for nearly 1,000 years. The Laughing Buddha. This is not the Buddha. That round, laughing, belly-rubbing figure in Chinese restaurant entryways and Western gift shops is not Gautama Buddha, not Amitabha, not any figure from the Indian tradition. He is Buddha, a Chinese monk who died around 916 CE, historically documented as an eccentric, wandering figure who carried a cloth sack full of candy and gifts for children, and accepted whatever life gave him with complete equanimity. After his death, he came to be seen as a manifestation of Maitreya, the future Buddha, his enormous belly representing the abundance and contentment of an enlightened mind at ease in the world. In Japanese Buddhism, he is called Hote and is counted among the 7 lucky gods rather than primarily as a Buddhist figure. The instruction to rub his belly for good luck is a folk custom with no traditional Buddhist basis whatsoever. He is not the Buddha, but the fact that billions of people treat him as one says something worth sitting with. The Jade Buddha. The most famous Jade Buddha in the world sits in the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, Wat Phra Kaeo, in Bangkok, and it contains an immediate complication. It is not made of jade. The statue, approximately 66 centimeters tall, is carved from a single piece of green jasper or nephrite, the exact mineral still debated among gemologists. Its small size is almost shocking given its enormous religious significance. The Thai king himself changes its seasonal costumes 3 times a year: summer robes, winter robes, and rainy season robes, an act that connects the Buddha's material form to the rhythm of the land and the life of the nation. A second notable example, the Shanghai Jade Buddha Temple, established in 1882, houses 2 white jade Buddhas brought from Burma. In Buddhist material culture, the substance of a Buddha image carries its own weight. Jade represents purity, indestructibility, and heaven. The image is small. What it holds is not. Shakyamuni. In the Buddhist traditions of China, Japan, Korea, and Vietnam, the historical Buddha is called Shakyamuni, the sage of the Shakya clan. And the image they created of him looks different from his South or Southeast Asian depictions in ways that matter. The elongated earlobes on virtually every East Asian Buddha statue are not an invention. They record the weight of the heavy gold earrings Siddhartha wore as a prince before renunciation, a detail preserved in stone across 2.5 millennia. The Usnisa cranial protrusion became, in Chinese and Japanese hands, a flame-like spiral. The body became more slender, the robes more layered and formal. In some East Asian temple arrangements, Shakyamuni is flanked by Amitabha and the Medicine Buddha as the 3 Buddhas of the 3 times, past, present, and future. The seated Shakyamuni with his right hand touching the earth remains the single most replicated Buddhist image in the world. Every detail of that image is a sentence. Most people have seen it 100 times without reading a word. Thai Buddha. Thai Buddha images follow a set of canonical proportions so precise that deviating from them is considered a form of disrespect. The most distinctive feature is the Ketumala, the flame-like Usnisa that rises from the crown like a point of fire reaching toward enlightenment. The Sukhothai period, lasting from roughly 1238 to 1438 CE, is considered the golden age of Thai Buddhist art. The walking Buddha it produced, a slender golden figure mid-stride, one hand raised in blessing, the other arm flowing freely, is regarded by art historians as one of the most graceful achievements in the history of Buddhist sculpture anywhere in the world. 4 postures carry specific theological meanings in Thai iconography: seated for meditation, standing for blessing, walking for the spread of the Dharma, reclining for the parinirvana. Thai Buddha images are treated as living presences, bathed, clothed, spoken to. Damaging one is treated as a serious offense under both religious and civil law. They are not representations of someone who lived. They are presences that are still here. Tibetan butter sculpture Buddha. Every year, Tibetan monks spend months constructing Buddhas out of yak butter mixed with mineral dyes. Then they destroy them. The sculptures can rise several stories tall, depicting entire pure land scenes with multiple Buddhas, bodhisattvas, lotus flowers, and geometric mandalas in vivid colored butter, illuminated by hundreds of butter lamps during the festival. Then they are deliberately dismantled. During construction, monks keep their hands submerged in ice water to prevent body heat from melting the butter as they work. These are among the most beautiful objects that Tibetan culture produces, and they are made with the full intention that they will not survive the night. Impermanence is not incidental to the art form. It is the art form. Giant rock-cut Buddhas. At 71 meters tall, the Leshan Giant Buddha in Sichuan, China, completed in 713 CE after 90 years of construction, is the largest stone Buddha in the world. A figure so enormous that a grown adult can sit comfortably on one of his toenails. The surrounding cliff face was carved away around him, leaving him seated in permanent meditation above the confluence of 3 rivers. Drainage channels were cut into his robes to prevent erosion, an engineering detail that has kept him intact for over 1,300 years. The Bamiyan Buddhas of Afghanistan, carved into cliff faces between the 6th and 7th centuries CE, standing 55 and 37 meters respectively, were destroyed by the Taliban in March 2001. Scale in these sculptures is a theological argument. You cannot look down on a 71-meter Buddha. You can only look up. Zen and the Non-Iconographic Buddha. The Chan and Zen traditions produced a Buddha you cannot depict. The monk Linji Yichuan, who died around 866 CE, is attributed the statement, "If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him." Meaning, any external figure, image, or authority mistaken for awakening itself is an obstacle to it. Wow. Teaching stories in the Chan tradition include a master burning a wooden Buddha statue to stay warm when he needed fuel, a deliberate act of iconoclasm used to shock students out of attachment to form. When Bodhidharma was asked by the emperor what the highest teaching of Buddhism was, he replied, "Vast emptiness. Nothing holy." In Zen, the Buddha you are looking for is described as your own original face before your parents were born. A phrase that cannot be depicted, purchased, venerated, or pointed at. This is not nihilism. It is the most demanding version of what Buddha could possibly mean. Wax and living Buddhas. In Tibetan Buddhism, certain masters are recognized after death as having reincarnated into a new body. The most famous of these tulkus, recognized reincarnations, is the Dalai Lama, understood as a living manifestation of Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion. In Thailand, a parallel but distinct tradition involves monks of extraordinary realization who have died being preserved through embalming or wax, seated in their meditation posture, and displayed in temple shrines where they continue to receive offerings and veneration decades after death. Luang Pho Deng of Wat Kunaram on Koh Samui is among the most visited examples. These figures exist in a middle space between history and myth. Documented human beings treated with the same devotional intensity as cosmic Buddhas. The Chinese government's ongoing dispute with Tibetan Buddhists over the authority to recognize tulkus, most visibly in the Panchen Lama case, shows how much political consequence that question carries. The question of what makes someone a Buddha is not abstract. It has borders, it has governments, it has consequences. Every entry in this video traces a single arc. It begins with a man born in what is now Nepal, sometime around the 5th century BCE. A historical person who sat under a tree and understood something. And it ends here, with the claim made by Mahayana texts like the Lotus Sutra and the Avatamsaka Sutra that Buddha is not a person, but the nature of reality itself. In Huayan and Shingon philosophy, this is not metaphor. Every sound is the Buddha teaching. Every moment of awareness is the Buddha waking up. Every being you encounter is the Buddha looking back at you. The tradition of Buddhists bowing to each other is based on this. You are bowing to the Buddha you recognize in the person in front of you. A historical man, a cosmic principle, a practice, a butter sculpture destroyed before dawn, a monk preserved in wax, a laughing figure in a restaurant entryway that has nothing to do with any of this and somehow everything to do with all of it. These are not different answers to the same question. They are different questions, each one pointing at something the others couldn't reach alone. If one of these versions of Buddha landed differently than you expected, drop it in the comments. I read everyone, and the next video is already on screen.